Peace, peace, good people. It's your man Matt Presbury here for Plant Based Meds. And I am joined today, I'm on it to be joined by Galanda B, a beautiful human who I've known for some time now, a fellow. Well, I don't know where you're originally from, but I know you resided in Baltimore. Is it originally Baltimore?
It
Oh,
is not. It is not,
okay.
but my family is from Baltimore.
Okay,
Hmm.
so I consider her a fellow Baltimorean. We're gonna roll with that. And
Yeah.
she is very much, to my knowledge, a plant enthusiast, which is why I wanted to have her on today. And I wanted her to share her love for plants with us and to really get into the medicinal side and just tell us some things that we could be really looking out for and possibly utilizing in our daily regimen. So, Galanda, first, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And is it okay to include where you are in the world right now? I don't know if everybody knows or
Absolutely. Sure. Sure.
okay.
It's no
So
problem.
why don't you tell us?
Currently, I am in Cape Coast, Ghana.
Awesome. That is fantastic. So
Yeah.
we're gonna first start. Let's first start with being the plant enthusiast that you are. How does that show up like in your daily life? What does that look like for you?
So I am a self proclaimed plant fanatic. What this means in my daily life outside of the use is like I read about plants all the time. Like there not a day goes by where I am not educating myself or reading about something to do with plants. It also means that everywhere I go, I'm looking at the plants. It doesn't matter if I'm walking down a city street, a country road, I'm looking at the plants. I'm always seeing what is nature providing in that area because it tells you a lot about what's going on.
Mhm.
I do grow indoor plants as well, but most medicinal plants are grown outside unless you have like one of these, fancy setups with the hydroponics and all that sort of thing. But most of them are grown outside and can be grown in pots or in the ground, which is my preferred method because it's less work, in my opinion. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I partake in I think tea is my preferred method for getting plant medicine on a daily basis. One of my favorite plants is what's called holy basil. It's also
Mhm.
known as tulsi. It is in the mint family, and it is what is known as an adaptogenic, which means that it helps to regulate you overall, right? There's not specifically, it pinpoints the gut or it pinpoints the heart. This is something that regulates you, helps keep you in equilibrium, not only physically, but emotionally and mentally as well. It also tastes good. It's
Mhm.
like one of the herbs that's naturally has a kind of a sweeter taste. So you can make tea from it very easily and enjoy it with whatever your sweetener of choice is. I'm not a big sweetener person, but you can do whatever sweetener of choice. And I drink Tulsi a lot. That's probably the plant medicine that I partake in the most. Outside of that, I do partake in other herbs, but I participate in plant medicine in terms of scent and smoke as well.
Mhm.
And when I say smoke, not necessarily inhale, I am not a smoker,
Mhm.
but I do contribute to those who do smoke, right? But I do partake in plant medicine in terms of smoke cleansing and using herbs to help shift the energy in one space, to help clear the energy in one space.
Okay.
Um, and then just fresh plant medicine, I guess technically that would be aromatherapy, right? I engage in that quite a bit. That's another very quick way to help a person manage, maintain, and even alter their mood. So, drinking tea, that's the first one. Smoke cleansing is probably the second one. And then aromatherapy would be the third main ways that I participate with plant medicine.
Okay, so I'm loving this conversation already because you're putting me onto some stuff now. I know the name Tulsi I had heard before, but I know that I never looked into it in any kind of way. So I'm definitely going to look into that. What I do personally myself, I make a tea and I have I microdose shrooms. So I put a
Hmm.
piece in my tea every morning. I've started that regimen. So I will look into the Tulsi as well and see what kind of effects that has. Let me just ask you, how long have you been having this interest in this, especially studying plant ology? What, I know that's not the real word, but you understand what I'm saying. Like, how long have you been working in this realm and doing these sorts of things?
So I would say even before I knew I was working in these things, because one
Mm-hmm.
area that I did not mention is that plant medicine also includes being around plants. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to ingest them, you don't have to burn them, you don't have to smell
Yes.
them.
Yes.
You can just be in the presence of plants and it can provide support for you. So I say, even before I knew, because my mom is a huge plant person, my grandmother is a big plant person. My grandmother, she didn't grow stuff outside, but she had a gazillion house plants. My mother, she's a flower person. She has a bunch of flowers outside. My other grandparents, they actually grow food, right? They grew food.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of plant medicine and that way through the food. So my whole life, I
Yeah.
mean,
And
I've always been around the plants. I've always enjoyed them. And so, but when I really started to get into it, I would say is when I bought my first house in Baltimore City in
mhm,
Reservoir Hill. And I cleared my backyard and I concreted it. And I was like, this not going to work. And so I
mhm,
ended up with a lot of pots with plants in them. And over time, it transitioned from what we would call ornamental plants, meaning plants that you just look at, to plants that have some use, whether it be herbal or food. So that was, when did I buy my house? Ooh, it's been a minute now. I want to say 20, I don't even remember. Like, I
okay,
really
no
don't
problem.
even remember. It's whenever 2007, maybe 2007. Yeah.
Okay,
So
we'll go with that.
2007, when I bought my house, is when it's really started, get moving and shaking with it.
Yeah, and I'm realizing as you talk, I'm realizing the better question would have been, and what I was actually thinking before I said that was more along the lines of like, was there any like specific kind of influence or anything like that that really got you fueled? And I know
Mm,
you said already like the history in terms of having the family that's growing the food and all of that sort of
yeah,
stuff. And again, I
yeah.
really appreciate this conversation because you're making me think, even me, the person who's starting this, and all of this, just thinking about so many things that I never thought about in terms of how it is medicinal. And it's something because I'm honestly developing a love affair, and people can feel however they want. I really frankly don't care. But as I microdose daily, I have began or
Hmm.
begun a love affair with plants myself, and not just the ones I
Yeah.
ingest. So even just being in, like, I'm
Hmm.
looking out a window right now at full of trees outside this apartment. So I'm
Exactly.
just really learning. Do you feel, and just tell me what's your thoughts on this as far as like the energy we receive and give? Because I feel like I understand, we have the whole process. We give off the one gas, they return the other gas, so on and so forth. But
Hmm.
just in terms of an energy like that we pass toward one another, do you see anything in that in terms of plants and our connection?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's definitely, I think once people really start to realize and think that everything is an energy exchange, everything, how much money
Yeah.
you make is an energy exchange. What
Yes.
kind of attitude you get back is an energy exchange. So when you approach life or move through life with this perspective, you come with a different type of energy,
Hmm.
right? Um, and when you realize, okay, everything is giving and taking, I don't remember what the law is, but energy is never lost.
Right.
It just moves, right,
Yeah.
from place to place. So I definitely believe that. They've even have found that plants have their own kind of language. Like
Mhm.
there is technology where they put like these sensors in the dirt, and it will make different
I think I
musical
heard that.
note sounds,
Yeah.
right? Based on how the plant is releasing or exchanging energy.
Mm.
So I definitely believe that everything is energy, right? Um, when you walking past the tree, what's up? I see you.
Yes.
Um, Even when you're walking down the street, people you see uh, a plant coming through the cracks, and a lot of people be like, "Oh, that's a weed, and I don't want that there."
Hmm.
Okay, you may not, but you can still acknowledge the fact that was some intention, some energy was put in
Yes.
to produce that, right? Like it's coming through. It's saying, "Hey, I'm here.
Hmm.
Whether you won't be here or not, I'm here.
Thank you. Yes.
I serve some purpose." That purpose could have been to tell somebody it's looking real rocky and
Hmm.
like ain't nothing can grow here, but something can. There could
Yes.
be a message for somebody in that. So I absolutely believe in energy exchange. I